Kristin Osani is a queer fantasy writer who lives in Kyoto, where she works as a freelance Japanese to English video game translator. When she's not wordsmithing, working on nerdy cross-stitch, or cuddling her 2 cats. 3 if you count her husband. Kristin, it's all you.
Thanks, Kate. So I'm reading a little bit into my short story from Beyond the Veil, Supernatural Tales of Queer Love, which contains 15 incredible stories. Mine is one of them. And all you really need to know is that Shidan is a reaper, and it's her job to take human spirits to the Yellow Springs, but she has a hobby that always risks her running late to her deadlines. The ore takes her over highways clogged with cars whose headlights bleed yellow and red onto the asphalt. Shidan alights on one of hundreds of identical high-rise balconies. She shifts through the sliding doors and steps inside the one-room apartment with a limp stirring of blackout curtain. On the crumpled sheets of the narrowed bed within lies the young human whose spirit she has come for. The sweet yeast scent of cheap beer sways against Shidan's nose. Clutched in the human's left hand is a half-crushed can. More cluster on the low table in front of the television, in the tiny kitchenette sink, on the floor beside the overflowing recycle bin. It is not Shidan's job to judge. Still, she cannot help the pang of pity for this human and their apartment of empty cans. Shidan kneels beside them. Their long hair spiderwebs out in a black halo beneath their head. Their suit is wrinkled, the first 3 buttons of their plain white blouse undone. The curve of their stomach twitches in slowing undulations as their internal organs drown in alcohol. Their gummed eyelashes flutter when Shidan brings a balloon to their slender lips. Breathe into this, please. Dark brown eyes cross as they focus on the balloon before teetering up to meet Shidan's sober gaze. The human laughs. Shidan blinks. This is not the reaction she was expecting. Still laughing, the human hoists himself up onto their arms. Their head lolls heavily to one shoulder. They reach out a hand. The beer can tumbles from their grasp as they draw cold fingers down Shidan's face, tweak one of her conical ears, trace the curve of the velvety horns protruding from her temples. Shidan is too bewildered to stop them. Shit. Their words slur around the edges. At least my death is beautiful. Shidan reclaims some composure. There is no such thing as a beautiful death. The human's clumsy fingers comb through her bright crimson hair. Then what are you? Your guide. My guide. They repeat the word like they are tasting it for the first time. Yes. Impatience gnawing at her, she lifts the balloon to their lips once more. Breathe into this, please. A petulant frown contorts their features. Why? What's it for? Her fingers clench around the slippery material. Words clump and tangle in her throat. She has never needed to explain, not to anyone else, not even to herself. To hold your final mortal breath. One of the human's thick eyebrows carves into their forehead. And you need that to guide me to the afterlife? It is unrelated. Their lips twist. You mean it's just for shits and giggles? It is not. Shidan stops. Tries again. It is more than... rolls her tongue between her sharp teeth. I collect. It's fine. We all need a hobby. I get it. Shidan nearly melts with relief, but when she lifts the balloon a 3rd time, the human jerks away. Wait. What do you trade me for it? Trade? Shidan rises, spreads wide her arms, and absorbs into the folds of her black deidoi the ambient light of the static on the television screen, the stars and moon and streetlights outside. Darkness thick enough to suffocate on douses the room. It galls knowing her professionalism slipped enough that she must resort to this amateur scare tactic. Humans do not barter with attendants of the Yellow Springs. This one does, comes their defiant retort, no louder than a rabbit quivering. If you want their last breath for your morbid little balloon collection, anyway. Shidan reigns in her annoyance. Stubborn mortals have tested her before. She always prevails. Bit by bit, Shidan allows the light to leak from her deidoi whence it came. The television crackles back to life, casting a static glow over the human's brown skin. Their dilated eyes are fixed up at Shidan, shoulders squared, fists gripping the bedsheets by their hips. She bends low over them, hovering her empty hand centimeters from their forehead. I could reap your spirit without it. You could. A bead of sweat trickles down the human's neck, spills over their clavicle, and disappears past the fraying collar of their blouse. The salty tang of their fear singes Shidan's throat. But I don't think you will. Her black enameled nails scrape delicately along the human's cheek, catching on the edges of their spirit. The human exhales swiftly, their chest stilling. The muscles above Shiran's lip twitch. She should make good on her threat. She has dallied far too long already. She can hear the demons cackling in delight, feel fiery claws sinking into her flesh. But Shiran has never reaped a human spirit before claiming their final breath. She hisses, "Tell me what you wish in exchange." The human gasps in air, claps a hand to their mouth. They cannot believe they have bargained this far. Neither can Shiran. "Paris." The word takes a while to squeeze out between their fingers. "I have always wanted to go." Paris is on the other side of the world, though it's not the distance that matters. There is no telling how long the human will wish to stay there. Shiran suspects it will be well past her deadline. Despair steals through her like poison. She must refuse and forego her balloon. She has only herself to blame. She should not have given the human time to question, time to realize they hold the advantage and call her bluff. Shiran stills. An idea strikes her. Time is the issue, but time is malleable, if Shiran is willing to imbibe the human's blood. Her stomach churns at the thought of taking something so impure into herself. Regardless of the power it holds, it will change her, irrevocably, if she is not careful. But it need only be a single drop. That is enough to bring the human to Paris yesterday, leave them to their fun, and return to claim their breath. The fold will be small, the demons should not notice. Even if they do, Shiran will have delivered the human spirit well before the deadline passes. She lets her hand fall away, stands upright. "I will take you for one sunset and one sunrise." Shiran prepares to argue. Mortals always want more. But to her surprise, excitement lights the human's face like the moon cresting over a still lake. "Deal." They scramble up from the mattress, swaying on their feet and stumbling forward when their toe snags on the lip of the floor rug. Shiran catches them without thinking. The human clutches her forearms, and for the span of several of their finite heartbeats, gazes up at her with an unfettered smile dimpling their round cheeks. "Thank you. Thank you, guide." "Shiran." The introduction is startled out of her. "That is what I am called." "Shiran." The sound of her name on someone else's lips, a human's no less, is a strange thrill. "I'm Naru." And that's where I'll leave it. Thank you.